Today, almost 90% of Muscovites live near a park. The residents of the capital can walk in the fresh air, they can play sports, ride bikes and scooters, and even dance outdoors all year round. You can even discover Moscow's history in the parks. For example, in this park in the north of Moscow, after a beautiful reconstruction, the historic Northern River Station once again opened its doors. The Northern River Station is one of the most famous Moscow architectural monuments of those constructed in the first half of the 20th century. The building was built in 1937, designed by Soviet architects Alexei Rukhledev and Vladimir Krinsky. The construction of the station was carried out simultaneously with the construction of the Moscow Canal, which was such an undertaking that it was given its own discussion in one of our previous programs. The Northern River Station, on the bank of the Khimsky Reservoir, was to become one of the symbols of Stalin's new Moscow. And the city itself, after opening of the canal, was to become a port of the 5 seas. From here, river ships could reach the Azov, Black, Caspian, Baltic, and White Seas. The building itself looks like a vast 2-decked ship. According to the architect's vision, the central part of the station with the main entrance and the tower is designed to be like the hull of a ship and the cabins. The open galleries with fountains at the north and south are the bow and stern, and the colonnades around the perimeter of the building are the deck. Like a mast, the station tower is adorned with a 27-meter metal spire with a retractable mechanism. I've heard there are some unique mechanisms here.
Yes.
The star goes up and down. What is it for?
Exactly. It's very interesting. Let's call it a device.
Yes, a device. That's great.
It signals the beginning of navigation. That is, when the passengers have embarked on their journey. The spire goes up, and that indicates that the port is open and that visitors are being received.
As you can see, now the spire is up. This means that every day huge motor ships depart from the pier of the Northern River Station.
From Moscow to the north, we go as far as St. Petersburg or the Solovetsky Islands, which is the White Sea. East, we go to Kazan, Perm, and Ufa. South to Astrakhan and Rostov. But apart from that, there are many shorter cruises. On the Volga, we can visit the ancient cities that are part of the Golden Ring of Russia: Uglich, Yaroslavl, and Kostroma. Or we can travel along the Oka, which is a tributary of the Volga.
This season, Moscow cruise companies have developed several new interesting river itineraries.
For example, a new route has been charted, with a stop at the Ladoga Skerries in Karelia. At the northern end of Lake Ladoga, there is a nature reserve by the name of Ladoga Skerries. They are very similar to the famous Norwegian fjords, but I would say they are more beautiful, more charismatic, atmospheric.
But before you go on a river cruise, we advise you to visit the building of the Northern River Station itself. It is a true monument of Soviet history and architecture. And now you can see it exactly as it was originally designed and built. For more than half a century, the station worked for its intended purpose, but in the 1990s, there were significantly fewer passengers and the building was neglected. The roof leaked, the walls deteriorated, and the park fell into disrepair. It was just recently, in 2018, that major restoration began. In the course of the restoration, specialists managed to preserve most of the original details of the interior. What could not be restored was made anew according to historical patterns and drawings. The experts managed to fully restore the building's facade and the 4 anchors on the spire. The 4 huge sculptures standing on the central part of the building were also restored. On the columns of the central entranceway, there are 24 beautifully restored ceramic reliefs. 12 medallions are arranged symmetrically on each of the facades of the station. The diameter of each medallion is 1.5 meters. They depict Lenin's mausoleum, the Kremlin, Kievska metro station, one of Stalin's seven sisters, and other iconic landmarks of Moscow. The station's tower clock has also been restored to its former glory. This old mechanism has been replaced by a new automatic one. In the courtyards, there are two historical fountains. This is the North Fountain, and that is the South Fountain. Both fountains symbolize the union of northern and southern riverways in Moscow. The Fountain North was designed by architects adhering to the Arctic style. At the very top, there is a menagerie of birds, figures of loons and wild geese. The entire composition is supported by 3 marble polar bears. The Fountain South is decorated with 9 copper dolphins. The authors intended that they remind visitors of Crimea and the Black Sea. All the historical details of the river station have been carefully restored. We're now inside the main lobby, where we can see exactly what it was like many years ago. When you come here, be sure to look up. On the ceiling there are caissons, rectangular recesses decorated with paintings depicting river themes. On the walls and windows, one can see painted bright coats of arms of the Soviet republics. The hall is surrounded by ceremonial columns and marble flooring. This is the waiting room. It's actually very luxurious. It has a very beautiful ceiling and lovely paintings. In fact, right now there's an exhibition from the Museum of Transport on the theme of ecology. In one of the most beautiful rooms of the Northern River Station, there is a restaurant, Volga Volga. This hall too is decorated with paintings which depict the 9 locks of the Moscow-Volga Canal. Frescoes can also be seen on the ceiling, which show important ships in the history of the Russian Navy. After the restoration, the Northern River Station was revived not only as a unique example of transport architecture, but as a place of rest for Muscovites. Here, you can enjoy these views all year round. It's a very interesting area around here, a lot of interesting things, and as I understand, it's part of some bigger vision.
Of course. The beautification program included not only the development of the Northern River Station itself, but also included the development of the surrounding area. The park here is amazing, as you've already noticed.
And so, what can people do here? For example, if I come out here in the afternoon or in the evening?
There are many different activities on the grounds here. For those interested in doing something more active, there are many different sporting options. Here we have installed bicycle parking for those cyclists who come and visit. In addition to that, of course, there are places for skating and skateboarding. For leisure, there are many different cafes, seafood, Italian. There's something for every taste. You can just come for a run in the morning. And for those who don't like to run, you can come and have a cup of coffee with a croissant. There are also cultural and leisure sites, as well as playgrounds, behind the station.
Unlike the station building, which was restored to its original form, the embankment, on the contrary, was designed to be modern. The architects attempted to use the river theme throughout. And this is a mini copy of the Moscow Canal, complete with all its locks. The length of the embankment of the Northern River Station is almost 1.5 kilometers, or about 1 mile. Here you can walk by the water and enjoy the wonderful views of Moscow. The park is a monument of Soviet landscape architecture and was planned in the 1930s, using the design principles of European parks. Work on the restoration of the station and the park has received numerous international awards. When my friends from England visit me, they often ask, where can you relax in Moscow? I advise them to visit Gorky Park. I often come here myself. In my opinion, this is the most trendy and most popular park in the Russian capital. On weekdays, there are up to 40,000 people that come here. On holidays and weekends, that number increases to an incredible 250,000 people. Today it's Sunday, so I assume there will be a lot of people in the park right now. Gorky Central Park of Culture and Leisure is located practically in the center of the city, on the bank of the Moscow River. To Muscovites, it's simply known as Gorky Park. Nominally, its territory is divided into 4 parts. Parterre, Muzion, Niskuchny Sad, and Sparrow Hills. You can enter the park from several parts of the city, but if you're here for the first time, we recommend that you enter the park through the central gate. This location is a hallmark of Gorky Park. The height of this arch is more than 23 meters. It was built in 1955. Previously, it contained the park management and various technical rooms. At one point, there was even a film and photo studio here. Now, after a large-scale reconstruction, these rooms have been opened to the public. Here, you'll find the Gorky Park Museum and a fabulous observation deck. The museum and viewing platform are open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day except Monday. There is a fee to enter the museum, but it is worth every ruble. The museum is the first and perhaps the only Gorky Park museum in Moscow. Here it's possible to see how the park looked during the Soviet times. In the exhibition here, there is a lot of rare photo and video material. For example, behind me, the parachute tower. This was built in the 30s and was one of the most popular attractions of Gorky Park. This year, Gorky Park turns 93 years old. It was opened on August the 12th, 1928. In those years, the park even had its own personal march. In the USSR, Gorky Park was built as an experimental site, an ideal recreational area for Soviet workers. There was nothing like it, neither in form nor in substance, in the young country at the time. At one location, there were amusement rides, holiday homes for a day stay, a kindergarten, playground, cinema, and theatre, the corner of silence, with an alley of hammocks, tea and snack bars, and much more. It is not surprising that the English writer H.G. Wells, during his visit to Moscow in 1935, called the park a factory of happy people. It was in those years that the park became famous all over the world. Many years later, it is still a favorite place among both Muscovites and guests to the Russian capital. I'm now standing near the Museum of Contemporary Art, known as Garage. It's perhaps one of the most famous and probably coolest art museums in Moscow. And it's not just a place where you can see great works of art from contemporary artists from all around the world. They also hold here many other events, including the Japanese Festival of Culture, J-Fest. J-Fest Summer Festival has been held annually at Art Square in Gorky Park since 2009. One of its organizers is the Moscow Department of Foreign Economic and International Relations. J-Fest Summer is the largest open-air festival of Japanese culture in Moscow and Russia's first variation on the theme of traditional Japanese festival Natsu Matsuri. And it is impossible to imagine them without a noisy fair, bon adori, traditional Japanese dances, and that special atmosphere of a holiday. Unfortunately, this year, like last year, almost all the festivals had to be cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, in previous years, all national festivals held in various parks of Moscow attracted a huge number of spectators and always became a cultural event in the life of the city. The days celebrating India, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, and Italy do not only acquaint Muscovites with the life of these countries, but also strengthen economic ties between Russia and other countries. Let's hope that in the foreseeable future the borders will open, national festivals will again be held in Moscow parks, and Muscovites will once again be able to enjoy this vibrant cultural exchange. At the beginning of 2021, work recommenced on improving Moscow's squares, parks and streets. This work had been stopped last year due to the coronavirus pandemic. So soon in Moscow we'll see new places to walk, beautiful viewing platforms and new ponds. I'm Mike Gibson, and do explore Moscow and the new possibilities to go for beautiful walks in this amazing city. See you in the next program. Bye.
A Big Asia Ltd. production. This program was produced with the support of the Department for External Economic and International Relations of the Moscow government.